Hi again, everybody. I'm an ordinary octopus. Yep, nothing special about me. Hey, do you guys remember Clownfish TV? I sure do. It's one of my most popular videos to date. 2,200 views with an outstanding like to dislike ratio. I was very proud of this video because I think I was the most reasonable I've been towards one of these fandom menace fucks. I've been really losing my patience with them recently because their content is just so repetitive and boring. But for this new video, I'll try to emulate the same reasonable tone I had. In case you don't know, Clownfish TV is a wannabe Geeks and Gamers channel. He uploads very frequently with clickbaity, SEO search engine optimization friendly titles with an accompanied clickbait thumbnail meant to spark anger and rage upon sight. Very original, I know. His Social Blade shows he's actually doing well in terms of views, but his sub count doesn't exactly reflect the attention he's getting. 130,000 views on average, yet he only gets like 240 subs a day. For reference, one of my favorite channels of all time, Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric, gets 260 daily subs with only 69,000 views. Clownfish gets double that, yet only the same amount of growth. And Eric uploads once every couple months. Clownfish uploads every day, multiple times. Yikes. Now that we have a little bit of background, let's actually dive into some content. This video here is discussing the Oscars making a few strides to be more inclusive. The Oscars have been routinely criticized for being overwhelmingly white. Main evidence being that not a single actor of color won an award for 2 straight years. In response, they decided that in order for future movies to win the much coveted Best Picture award, directors must meet 2 out of 4 criteria. Either the lead role or major supporting actors must be people of color, or 30% of secondary actors or extras must be POCs, that or they must provide paid apprenticeship to them and or have a majority of senior executive be people of color. All right, so some important notes here. Number 1, this is only for eligibility of a single award. This is not required for every award as far as I know. 2, you must meet 1/2, 2 out of 4, 1/2 of the requirements listed to be eligible. Now, why do I bring all that up? Because Neon utterly fails to do that throughout the first couple of minutes in order to scaremonger about diversity quotas ruining Hollywood and blah, blah, blah. Take a look.
And we haven't talked about this yet. Of course, the Oscars did put out some new guidelines, new rules for inclusion to be included in the nominations for the Oscars. You have to follow the Academy's diversity and inclusion guidelines that a lot of people think are draconian, Orwellian, and a lot of celebrities even now are coming out and questioning whether or not this is a good idea to design movies by committee. I don't think it's a very good idea. I think that there's definitely room for all kinds of stories to be told in movies and on TV, but to force people to have a certain number of a certain kinds of people in their movies to even be considered for an Oscar is going to have a huge pushback, I think, from creatives, not because they're racist, but because it affects storytelling at that point. It is movies designed by committee. And this is the way the entertainment industry has been for the last couple of years now. Everything is designed by committee. This is why so many cartoon shows right now, when you see things like High Guardian Spice, the Crunchyroll is doing High Guardian Spice, and they're promoting it as being a diverse show by diverse people without showing you any actual animation or really even telling you much about the story, you know that things are going a little too far. Again, that's not a knock against more diverse stories. It's just that the quota, the Orwellian quota, as some new outlets are calling it, it's actually going to hurt the entertainment industry, which is already hurting.
Yep. Like I said, no mention of the previously stated criteria. I guess nuance was a little too inconvenient for your soapbox propaganda preaching, huh, Neon? I'd like to draw your attention to the writer of this article he's showing, Miranda Delvine. Miranda is a conservative writer for Fairfax Media in Australia. From what I've been told, Fairfax is basically the Fox News of Australia. Interesting. So, someone like Clownfish is very adamant about being against obviously biased media that pushes political agendas. Huh. You say that, yet you routinely use very obviously biased sources that have an agenda to push from the opposite end. This is the same thing he did in my last video, complained about biased media twisting the facts to call fans toxic. Yet yet doesn't criticize another biased article for literally doing the same thing. It truly astonishes me how someone could not see an issue with doing shit like that. I'd also like to point out that Clownfish and others who cry about diversity quotas and forced inclusion can never make any specific point as to why it's bad. Case in point, the only problem Clownfish can really point to as to why this whole diversity thing is bad is because it affects storytelling. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Lots of things affect storytelling. How does diversity affect how a story is told anyway? So, presumably, a movie that features mostly whites is better told? What? He's just assuming it's worse based on baseless speculation. That's without even having to bring up that this was for only one award, in which they only have to meet half of the requirements. Listening to him and these dumb fuck writers describe it as Orwellian. I'm sure you remember him saying that is Orwellian measures. Saying shit like that, hearing these guys say that is so pants-shittingly hilarious. Seriously? So let me get this straight. You're telling me that an award show changing the rules that they themselves made, I might add, in order to accomplish a goal that they themselves set is Orwellian. Are you fucking kidding right now? Neon, I could tell just by your usage of that word that you don't have a fucking clue what it actually means. Ooh, I can already feel the blood-boiling anger that's going to be spewed at me in the comments. Fuck you, lib cuck. Forced diversity is bad. It's ruining movies in Hollywood. Okay. First off, the idea that giving black people a few more prominent roles in Hollywood will cause it to go entirely bankrupt is so patently absurd. I didn't think I need to point that out. Might I suggest buying yourself a crowbar so you can pry your head out of your own ass? Cool? Bitchin'. After you get that situation sorted, do you mind explaining to me what forced diversity is? Particularly the forced part of it? What does forced mean in this contest? Okay, so I'm imagining it in my head. They might say, forced diversity is when you hire someone for a role they didn't earn. What do you mean, didn't earn? How do you know they didn't earn it? How could you even prove that? So, okay, I'm imagining it. They didn't earn it because there was no reason for the character to be black. It's just pandering. Yeah. Interesting. So, what reason do they have to be white then? They should just hire the best person for the job, not trying to pander to the woke crowd. Okay, so you don't think they do that already? I find that hard to believe. I doubt you have any proof for that whatsoever. Well, there are black people who do a bad job because they weren't best for the role. Yeah, sounds like you're making a lot of baseless assumptions. Your reasoning also has one critical flaw. What if I were to claim that white people are being forced to be in the majority in the industry because of a quota that the movie studios must maintain lest they get their funding cut? See? My claim is equally as valid as yours, equally unprovable. You can't prove me wrong, I can't prove you right. So that's kind of a stupid thing to base an argument on, isn't it?
I haven't lived out there for quite some time. I still have friends out there. They tell me it's pretty bad. California is actually not the same place it was when I lived there. And we're going to talk about Hollywood and centralization. I talked a little bit about this the other day, and I think that this relates to the Oscars, because I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a breaking point where you're going to have more independent creators, more artists who don't want to be told what to do, break away from the Hollywood system. And by the Oscars requiring that you have a certain quota that needs to be met, they're actually just helping themselves become more obsolete quicker, faster, that people are going to go find some other alternatives. I think we're going to see a renaissance in indie content out of necessity because the Hollywood system is broken. Everything has been centralized in LA for quite some time. That's in San Francisco, not LA, but still, everything is and has been centralized in a town that's going to hell in a handbasket, that people are leaving California in droves. And I think this needs to happen. think it's sort of like a, since everybody's talking about Dune now, sort of like the God Emperor of Dune, things have to become so terrible that everybody scatters across the country. So it reminds us never to centralize the entertainment industry in one place, because this is how things like the Oscars Orwellian diversity quota happens. We have so many like-minded people making all the decisions for an entire industry.
But they're trying to push a leftist agenda. They're making movies worse just to push their agenda, and it's crippling Hollywood. Diversity doesn't matter, but they have to push their agenda on America no matter the cost. Hey, buddy, do you listen to yourself? Honestly, do you listen to the things you say? Do you realize what a fucking nut job you sound like? First off, you're full of shit. Diversity does matter, 100%. This is provable beyond a shadow of a doubt. Gay representation in media has had a very big impact on how people view gay people today. Same is true for black people who were respected as jazz musicians in the 20s and 30s and later the 40s and 50s and 60s. It's proven that people respond stronger to a character that shares a skin color with them. That's just a fact, my friend. You like facts, right? Concerning the whole leftist agenda nonsense, you anti-SJWs are the last people on planet Earth who should be complaining about agenda pushing. Either way, last time I checked, I live in America.
America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah! America, fuck yeah!
And here in America, we have this thing known as freedom. Fucking freedom. The Oscars made a choice to add some additional requirements to their flagship award to help develop a more inclusive environment to movie making in general. No one forced them to do this. No one. Nobody forced them to do this. They took some heat and decided to change themselves to improve public opinion. Now, that to me sounds like good old American freedom. Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah. You guys aren't against freedom, are you? I ask because you people never shut up about the death of Hollywood, just because you're under the false assumption that attempting to make a space more diverse makes it worse by default. As if just because they make an attempt to have more black people, that means white people will just not exist in movies anymore. Yeah, how many white actors are complaining about not getting work because of diversity quotas? Go ahead. Give me some examples. I'll wait. Yeah, that's what I thought. This video is 20 minutes long, but I am already out of patience for Clownfish's bullcrap. He hasn't changed, he's still full of crap, as are all of the Geeks and Gamers wannabes. And a lot like Geeks and Gamers, his channel was once good. This is why you never go full anti-SJW, kids. Never go full chud. I'm Karina McDaniels. Have a good morning. Live long and prosper.